write your name here in stone to end your journey at your own.
شغرب وتعدينا تختخ ونيشاني صوب حفروا لي الفخ يا شر غدر مسونيش بدر غير بعمرلا بكرة تون نكبر بالخاطر أمي ربتني مقاتل ما مشيش في الباطل مخزون شي كوري في الباطل وعشاني يا صحراء جامليني المرة دي ودايلي يا غالية ما صوتش عالفاضي حبيبي ويبولن ما شاء الله فيك سكيفولن ما شاء الله لك اسليب اخي ain't too hard looking as fresh as musalla حبيبي ويبولين ما شاء الله تيكس كيف فولين ما شاء الله ممكن لك اسليب اخي ain't too hard looking as fresh as musalla بنطمح وبنطمع بيبلوا القدام بيحلوا الجداد بتعتم ونلمع وما يفرحش فينا العدا وقليل وحوش بيصف العمر ولو على الحاجات بنشتري وتقدم ويحلوا الجداد والايام تتعاد مشي الايام نكبر وبتكبر الاحلام بنبص لقدام ولا عمري في ليله نسيت القدام وان شلت هم وان يوم كسرت طول الحساب سيب على الله قول على الله صاحبي على الله حبيبي ويبولين ما شاء الله فيك سكيفولين ما شاء الله ممكن لك اسيب اخي ain't too hard looking as fresh as musalla حبيبي ويبولين ما شاء الله فيك سكيفولين ما شاء الله ممكن لك اسيب اخي ain't too hard looking as fresh as musalla انا الظهر ابو الصحاب سلبوا اوطان احلامنا اوطان حلمنا نبقى اكبر وكبرنا فرسان راح يا دار عدينا بالصعب وقلت اخ ما قلتش سايبنا على الله صاحبي تشابي وانا مو صلاح بلادي يا بلادي
Everybody who's already here, thank you so much for making it out. Yes, give yourselves a round of applause. You made it here. You found parking even though there's a marathon. It's morning, it's Sunday, you've got your coffee on, you've got your baklava on. I'm so glad that you're here with us, and we're gonna start our main program at 12:05 p.m. Right now, what we have for you is a few amazing opening acts, and I'm super excited that we get to share these artists with you. First up, please give a warm welcome to the stage to theater artist Sutheshna Mani. Hello.
And all the clubs you gettin' using my name. Oh, you think you broke my heart, oh boy, for goodness sake. You think I'm crying on my own, well I ain't. Well, I didn't want to write a song, 'cause I didn't want anyone thinking I still care, I don't. But you still hit my phone up And baby, I'm moving on. I think you should be something that I don't wanna hold back. Baby, you should know that my mama don't like you, she likes everyone. And I never like to admit that I was wrong, but I've been so caught up in my job, I didn't see what's going on. Now I know that I'm better sleeping on my own. Cause if you like the way you look so much, oh baby, you should go and love yourself. And if you think that I'm still holding on to something, you should go and love yourself. When you told me you hated my friends, the only problem was with you and not with them. And when you told me that my opinion was wrong, and you tried to make me forget where I came from, well, I didn't want to write a song cause I didn't want anyone thinking I still care. I don't, but you still hit my phone up. And baby, I'm moving on. I think you should be something that I don't want to hold back. Baby, you should know that my mama don't like you, and she likes everyone. And I never like to admit that I was wrong, but I've been so caught up in my job, I didn't see what's going on. Now I know that I'm better sleeping on my own. Cause if you like the way you look so much, oh baby, you should go and love yourself. And if you think that I'm still holding on to something, you should go and love yourself. Dance if you want. Get up. Woo! Thank you so much to Swana Manasa for allowing me to sing. Thank you, Farah. Thank you for this man in black. All the times you made me feel small, I fell in love, but I feel nothing at all. And I never felt so low when I was vulnerable. Was I a fool to let you break down my world? Cause if you like the way you look so much, oh baby, you should go and love yourself. And if you think that I'm still holding on to something, you should go and love yourself. Hey, cause if you like the way you look so much, oh baby, you should go and love yourself. And if you think that I'm still holding on to something, you should go and love yourself. Oh baby, you should go and love yourself. Oh baby, you should go and love yourself. Thank you. All right. This next one you guys will definitely recognize. It's another jazzy take on a classic that you guys will know, hopefully. If not, you'll just hear a new song. So, okay. My baby don't mess around because she loves me so, and this I know for sure. But does he really wanna, but can't stand to see me walk out that door? Don't try to fight the feeling, cause the thought alone is killing me right now. Thank God for mom and dad for sticking two together like we don't know how. You think you got it. Oh, you think you got it. But got it, just don't get it when there's nothing at all. We get together, oh, we get together. But separate's always better when there's feelings involved. Now what they say is nothing is forever. Then what makes love the exception? So why are we still in denial when we're not happy here? All right, now, ladies. Now, what's cooler than being cool? I remember ice cold. All right, 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 all right. Now, ladies. Now, I want to see y'all on your baddest behavior. Lend me some sugar. I am your neighbor. Shake it, shake, shake it, shake it, shake, shake it, shake it like a Polaroid picture. Ooh! Shake it, shake, shake it, shake it, shake, shake it, shake it like a Polaroid picture.
Was incredible. If you want to learn more about Sutheshna, check out the caption to this video on the YouTube live stream. On your programs, you see a little QR code. There you go, Rick. And you can, if you scan that QR code, it's going to take you to the video where there's even more information than there is in your paper programs. So definitely be sure to check her out. And if you want to see her in a show that's going to happen in San Diego right now, she's about to run off to rehearsal, and that's why we put her first. So make sure to check that out, all right? But I brought a friend up here, Ric Scales.
How y'all doing?
Oh.
1, 2, 1, 2.
There we go.
How y'all doing today?
Ric Scales, everybody.
Happy Sunday.
So, Rick.
Yes.
I'm going to introduce you more fully next time you come on stage.
Absolutely.
But now we're friends, and you're a Word Up professional, regular on the program.
Correct.
So I wanted to get some help to introduce our next opening act.
Absolutely.
You and Miki Vale, who's our sound designer and DJ for today. Yes, Miki Vale. You were the first 2 rappers ever on this program.
Jackie Robinson.
There we go. But today, we've got a new rapper here joining us. And I'm super excited because I love having you here all the time, but you know.
Absolutely. There's enough room for everybody out here, right?
There's enough room for everybody out here. And I'm super excited because I don't know if I actually told you this, but before I worked at the Old Globe, my name's Laura, by the way. It's been a while since I did this. I forgot to say my name. Thank you. So before I worked at the Old Globe, I worked at a refugee resettlement organization, and I was over in El Cajon, and I spent a lot of time at the high school out there, and I got to see a talent show. And this was like the coolest high school talent show you have ever seen. I had a blast. It was better than most things I see on stages anywhere, you know, San Diego, beyond. Not to diss my workplace or anything. It was just that amazing of a talent show. And I always remembered the person who's about to come out. I saw him, didn't know who he was, but I was like, wow, he's amazing. And today's the day. Today's the day that we have an opportunity to have him come out on stage.
That's right.
So you want to be the one to give a warmest welcome, like a hype him up welcome to little Adam?
Can y'all do me a favor, party people in the place to be? Make some noise for Adam!
Welcome, Adam, come on out. All right, DJ Miki, we're ready with the tracks whenever. Give him a warm welcome.
عمنتك بس عقلبي بحبك انت اناني بلحظة صامت رحتي طب ليه ما صنتي هالامانة هلا حامل بيدي ورا محفور عليها اسمك بقلبها مكتوب التاريخ وساعة دفنك ذكريات ضلت عبارة عن اخر مرة شفتك ملاك بتابوت والبراءة على وجهك باخر دقيقة تحت تراب حطوا جسمك قربت لاشوفك وتفاجأت هيدا كفنك وردة بربيعة مش حرام تنقطف بس ما حدا باقي بهالدنيا للاسف تركتيني ضايع مش عم بقدر اتحمل ايامي عم بتذكر بصورة عم بتأمل سؤال بس عم ردد بعدني منتظر جواب اشرح لي وشيني من حالة الاكتئاب هلا رح احكي بس صوتي رح اقدم لك تبري اللحن دقت قلبي وكل ده عم بتوصل لك حبي الك وبعد غيابك شو صار في الجرح ما تركني وعم بتعذبني الحنية وين الوعد طب قلتي لي رح نبقى لبعض وين الوعد فجأة فرقنا هالبعد لا تنسيني مش ناسيكي بعرف انك بتحبيني وين الوعد وين الوعد وين الوعد كل يوم من عبكرة لما الشمس تبلش تشرق بتذكر بس قلتيلي على الهمس قلبك رح اسرق دموعي بتنزل كيف الزمن اضرب لحظة يفرقنا بس عندي احساس بغير دنيا رح يجمعنا منعيش قصة ولادة بدنا ما لا نهاية وحدي انا وياك رح نرجع للبداية صفحة جديدة اكتب وراء وما بتنمحى بنكتب قصة سنين عذبنا اللي ما بينتسى عم بسمع صدى صوتك معول عم بتناديني ما انتظرت ساعة موتك تفلي فجأة وما تحكيلي جروح كانت عم تكبر اكبر شهادة كانت دمع صوت ابدا ما فرقني بكل ليلة ضوي لك شمعة من التراب خلقت والى التراب تعود بس حبة من ترابك بتسوى اللي على الوجود جسمك اندفن من سنة العظم بالارض انتشر راسك مكان ينحني ضله اعلى من البشر هلا رح احكي بس صوتي رح اقدم لك تبري اللحن دقت قلبي كل ده عم بتوصل لك حبي الك بعد غيابك شو صار في الجرح ما تركني وعم بتعذبني الحنية وين الوعد طب قلتي لي رح نبقى لبعض وين الوعد فجأة فرقنا هالبعد لا تنسيني مش ناسيكي بعرف انك بتحبيني وين الوعد وين الوعد وين الوعد Thank you guys. واقف بين الناس على قبرك وانا ادعي احاول احمي سبعي واكتب حزني داخل صدري سامحني بعد ما في بيدي شيء غير دعائي لك يا غالي بما اني باقي حي وادري اني في يوم راح ادخل من نفس الباب هذه سنة الحياة لازم نرجع للتراب بالنهاية هذا الموت ما اعترف بالاسباب كل انسان في هذه الدنيا راح يستسلم للغياب ما اتخيل اني اقدر حتى ابعد عن ترابك كيف يا صاحبي انا اقدر على فراقك كل افراحي بقلبي ماتت ما عاد باقي شيء يفيد ما اتخيل انه الشمس بكرة تشرق من شديد مالي الا احزاني وانت ما بين الاكراد وادعي ربي انه يغفر ذنبك يا اعز الناس ربي يا كريم يا قيوم السماوات ارحم عبدك المحتاج يا مجيب الدعوات انساك كيف اقدر انساك واتحمل ذكراك يا اغلى من في الكون ذكراك عايش على ذكراك بكل لحظة معاك عايش على طول اتذكر من زمان ايام الماضي الجميل كنا نضحك من القلب ودموع الفرح تزيد كنا نلعب مع بعض حتى كبرنا مع بعضنا للاخر وانا باقي على الوعد اتذكر كنا كيف نتقاسم الفطور لما ما اخذ مصروفي او يضيع وقت الطابور بالفرحة كنا سوا بالحزن كنا سوا بالمرض كنا سوا كنا لبعضنا الدوا يكفيني انه حتى وقت الزعل ما يعدي بينا اليوم ولا كأنه شي حصل يكفيني اني كنت اشكي لك كل همومي يكفيني انك اكتر من اخويا في عيوني كنا على الفطرة ما نعرف ايش يعني حسد كنا على نفس الروح في اكتر من جسد ايام ما انساها لسه عايش في ذكراها لو اعيش اكتر من مرة ما راح القى زي حلاها انساك كيف اقدر انساك
واتحمل ذكراك يا اغلى من في الكون. اي ذكراك عايش على ذكراك بكل لحظة معاك عايش على طول. صحيح كان الرابط بيني وبينك ما هو دم، لكن تبقى لي الأخ اللي لم تلد الأم. أتذكر كم وكم عشت بأسوأ الظروف، ما هو كان من أصعب ترتيب الحروف. كنا أنا وأنت واحد، جيبي وجيبك هو واحد، ما كان شي يفرقنا ولا أي شي بعد. كنا نكتب ذكريات ونسجل على التاريخ ونسجل الزمان ونخليها للزمان. يكفيني إني كنت أشكي لك كل همومي، يكفيني إنك كنت أكتر من أخويا في عيوني. أي كنا على الفطرة ما نعرف إيش يعني حاسد، كنا على نفس الروح فيها أكثر من جسد. Hey, that's it. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Yeah, it's all good. Can I get some water real quick? Just stop. I talked too much.
Adam, give it up for one more time for Lil Adam. We've got one more track. Big love. Big love.
وين الوعد؟ اسمع. اي دارت وجهي على الناس، ما تعرف معنى الإخلاص، ما تعرف معنى الصداقة، ما تعرف معنى الوفاء. قدامك يشتريك ويشد ظهره بيك، من وراك يحكي عنك بتحسه بده يشرب من دمك. كتر القهر موتني ما عاد أتحمل، أصبر وأقول خلاص بتهون. دايما أسأل ربي ليش ما ألقى واحد يصون، يعرف معنى الصداقة وما يطعن ويخون. هيك كوكب حولني لواحد مجنون، حاسس حالي مو قدران، حاسس حالي كتير تعبان، حاسس حالي مو قدران، حاسس حالي كتير تعبان. كل يوم نفس الشي، بضلني ماشي كله بيطعني من ورا، مفكريني مسكين مو عارفين انه انا هون قادر اعمل كل شي مثل ما انت بتعمل. بس انا الصريح انا دايما منيح، بس انت دايما بتحب تطعني وتخليني احس انه انا مو مثلك ولا مثله. ولكن عارف حالي انه قادر اطلع لفوق، لاني انا مو مجنون، بحس حالي جاي من الصين. الناس ما عندها اخلاق بتخليك تحس انك واحد مهان، عامل لي فيها كانك سوبرمان مالك قدران تعمل ولا اي شي. كل يوم بتحاول تطعني وتضلك ماشي من وراي، اي وتضلك ماشي من وراي. The last one was short.
I'm not sure if it's gonna be on. Let's give it
1, 2, 1, 2. And it's on. Party people in the place to be. Do me a favor, make some noise for my man. All right, I got a couple questions for you real quick. So what language was that you were rapping in?
Arabic.
In Arabic. So you guys just got to hear a bunch of raps in Arabic for the first time ever. I'm pretty sure that, raise your hand if you heard raps in Arabic before. You're welcome.
Let me just tell him what is the song about.
Yeah, tell them about the song.
For the people who doesn't know like what I just said, the first song was about a girl who I loved and she died, and I talk about how I went to her grave and I looked in her grave and how beautiful she was, but nobody cared because like people don't value like beautiful flowers and stuff like that. This is like most likely what I said, and I said stuff about. I remember back then when she used to tell me, like, in a second I'ma steal your heart and this type of stuff, like memories. And I believe that one day I'ma meet her again somewhere, but not here, but somewhere. And the second song was for a friend of mine who died in the war, because I came from Syria. And I was talking about how everybody gonna die. And I was explaining like how I feel about that and how every day it affects me. And the third song, I was talking about people who have stabbed me in my back, like people who were fake to me, people who I loved and showed love to, and people who betrayed me, and people who really doesn't understand what love and what friendship is. And thank you guys.
Absolutely. Hey, tell them where they can find your music and things of that nature.
Oh well, I just right now I'm rapping like a performance like this, but I haven't posted any music yet. But I'm coming in a year. I'm starting my own I'm starting my own product, and there's someone who's gonna help me, a big YouTuber, and that's where I'm gonna start posting my music and stuff. Thank you, guys.
That's what's up. Stay tuned, you guys.
One more time for Lil Adam. Good job. That was amazing. Thank you so much. We're so honored that we got to have you as one of our opening acts. Give it up one more time for Sutheshna also. Incredible, right? I got an oh wow front row. Totally.
Hey y'all, I liked that.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming. I wasn't ready for it.
It took a minute, but when I realized it, it was pretty special. So that was our opening act sequence. We're going to be starting our main program with a collaborative arts, conversation, workshop, performance, one of all the above. And you're going to come back, I'm going to come back. But those bells up there, those bells in the California Bell Tower, at noon every day, they ring for a solid 5 minutes. We will not be competing with these bells today. Sometimes we try, but for the 5 minutes, we're not going to be competing. So I invite you to take this opportunity to read through the program, read through the caption of the video if you want to learn more about Lil Adam and if you want to learn more about Sutheshna Mani. Go ahead and, I hope you're enjoying the baklava, but you can check out some coffee from the pub, run to the restroom, and we're going to meet you back right here at 12:05 after you hear the bells stop. Thank you so much, everybody. See you in just a minute.
يقوباتي مقدول مايرد مماي ناتي زمطرة بخيا حسرت زمرياتي مرخو من شيري درات نقاتي خمرة خلياش ديلم خدوتا قولم بغاق ميدال الموتى شبلي بتممي خلمان خليفة أسبري الخبي ويا منشيفة اشتلاش بغتي بدرد الزمانة طلقم خخينة نيشو الشيدانة عوان بناتو قاري سودانة قطيبت بشي خرط إمامي صوتي قمرية تقنا بيا شنتي برتيلا خيني بدمخي وبطرت خبة ألقينا برخي أتني أخليتي تدور يرخي يا من خيي قد خيا يرخي شما بقرايا البرز المياه يطرى وقايا في بيت شمال دراني خينا الإيدة تسبيقي على بيت فينا طاو ينبارو عيوني تلبتا خد بارد صارا وبشمش أزرقتا عيناتي بضمي أغامي غرقتا نفس يوس صدري ولا بريكا يشقم بومبوتا بكرن جنجارا أمرت قريشون من دارا دارا سبلن وبريا باين خخيتا إنا يلايا وسباين موتا
الكوم علي ميالي يودا هوار يسقن زوزاني بلك تخزنا يا عينو شطراني بلك تخزنا هوار عينو شطراني سقلا برزونا يا خشنا الكوم علي سقلا برزونا هوار خشنا الكوم علي برزونا هوار يسقى الزومي
Is my mic on? Hey, welcome to Word Up, everybody. Oh, you're kidding. I thought it stopped. I thought it was done. Give it up for Balboa Park, right? We love it. It's a little much. We work with it. I'm going to go ahead and just keep chatting with you. Do you hear me okay, or is it too distracting? It's all right? It's all right? Okay. Again, my name is Laura. I'm the host of this show today, and if in case you don't know what you're in for, this is a collaborative arts program. Over the course of the next hour and a half, everyone who's here in person, everyone who's watching the YouTube live stream, which is happening right now, hi friends, and a whole bunch of guests who are with us are going to work together on an original work of art that we're going to get to see how it all turns out at the end. There are some ways for you to participate if you feel so moved. But of course, there's a lot of different ways that you can do that. One of the ways that you can participate today is by just calling out responses. For example, how are you feeling today? Very nice. I heard goods. I heard a woo, which is technically not an adjective, but I'm not going to be picky about it today. I appreciate the enthusiasm. So that's one way that you can participate. But if something's happening, like the bells are ringing or a plane is flying overhead, and so it's a little bit tricky to shout out, there's actually someone here who's going to help you with that exact purpose. Vero is right over there. Everybody say hi, Vero.
Hi, peoples.
So, Vero, if someone needs a little bit of help, what can they do?
$1 is more than enough for me to come straight to you. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Just give me a little wave. I'm going to be right here amongst you. So we're good. If you want to say something and you don't want to talk too loud or you're a little shy, tell me. I can tell it for you, or you can just use the voice in here.
There we go. There we go. So there's a couple of options for how you can engage, but there is another one. If you're not the verbal kind of participant, you can also check out the YouTube live stream, which on the physical program, there's a QR code. If you scan that, it's going to take you to the YouTube link. And there are folks who may not even be physically with us here, but are digitally with us online, because in the chat to the YouTube video, people are going to be participating and answering responses to all the questions that we're going to be asking you today as well. And to help us know what people are saying on the YouTube chat is an amazing binational theater artist, one of the teaching artists here at the Old Globe, and a very good friend of mine. Please welcome to the stage, Valeria Vega. Welcome, Val.
Thank you, Laura, for having me back.
I'm so happy to have you back. We got to spend the whole summer together.
Yes.
All summer long, every 2 weeks, we were right here working with different amazing artists and guests in different art forms, and Val was here for all of it, helping us know what people are saying on YouTube.
Exactly. Everybody has something to say. Sometimes it's hard to say it out loud. Sometimes it's easier to type it. And either or, like, we kind of learn how to virtually connect and still be here, present.
Yeah. So I'm super happy for everybody who is joining us from a distance. We're really, really glad to have you, and we can't wait to hear the things that you have to say. And thank you very much, Val, for helping us out.
Of course.
And Val, I have a confession to make. So we did this all summer long, and this is the first one back for 2022. And we were so in the swing of things, like we knew the drill by heart all summer long. And preparing for today, I was honestly quite nervous. I was like, I'm going to forget what to say. I don't remember how to do this anymore. But then I was remembering that I have totally stacked the room with people like Vero and Val. Like, nothing can go wrong.
No.
We've got an amazing team. And one other of our regulars who's here every single Word Up is rapper Ric Scales. So please welcome him back to the stage. Come on out, Ric. Ric,
Good.
do you have any feedback on Miki Vale, our sound designer? Do you have any feedback on her opening sound for you to walk out to?
She's the best.
She's the best?
1, 2, 1, 2. Is this my phone?
Check, check, check. What number is this one? 5?
Number 5.
Oh, it was working.
Hey. Oh,
Hey.
it was working. Okay. Hello again.
Nice.
Yeah. No, Mickey is the greatest. I have nothing negative to say ever about Miki. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. See, and this is why. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right. So you know the drill.
Absolutely.
All summer long, because we like to make things up on the spot here at Word Up, we thought we could just play the regular theme song again and again, or I could give Rick a call. Rick, you could come out on stage and improvise completely a theme song.
Yep.
Every single time.
Every time.
So that's what we're gonna do, which, you know, that part's nothing new. We're gonna be pulling from this little tree here. You're gonna all have an opportunity to participate in this craft that folks participated in all summer long, where they're responding to a few prompts about how they define the San Diego arts community and what their greatest wish is for the San Diego arts community. But I'm gonna I already pulled a little stack under here from what people had written on the tree. And Rick, have you been cheating? Have you been reading any of these already?
No, I'm not a cheater.
All right, all right, all right. So what we've talked so far is normal. We've done this all before, but we are going to add one more variable this time because we like to just stress ourselves out a little bit.
A lot of it.
A lot of it. So because we have Lil Adam here with us and Lil Adam beatboxes, we're thinking maybe Rick could freestyle over Lil Adam's beatboxing. So please give another warm welcome to Lil Adam. All right.
Yes, sir.
Are you ready?
You ready, Vic?
I'm ready. You ready?
I am ready.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. I've got
Are
these.
you ready? Oh, that was a good response. Oh, my goodness.
Ready.
They're ready. All right, let's get to it.
Let's go.
Y'all ready?
Let's go. Yeah. 1, 2. Yeah. Yo. My name's Ric Scales. I don't kick no old flows when I come through doing it here at the Old Globe. And you know we've been on a good run, cause every time we do it, it's entertaining and fun. Thought-provoking and also meaningful. Whatever rhymes with that, you know that I need the flow a little bit more just to grow and prosper. And burn that stuff up like phosphorus. This is vibrant. I'm on that liveness, grabbing the microphone and being your highness, feeling like I was a king. Grabbing the microphone and experiencing diversity brings when we doing what we like to. Kick a freestyle off the top like a haiku. And you know Rick is my name if you asking. Every time we're doing it with passion. All we know about is community. And when it comes to community, it's his unity. And what I wish for these days is the same thing on this card. Greater inclusivity. I messed the word up. But when it comes to word skills, I always got a surplus. And MCs is with the fallacies. And we do this here with lots of originality. And I'm going to keep the flow. Doing it off the top at the Old Globe. You like it when you hear this. He got the beatbox off the top. This was fearless. Yo, and we gonna keep trying. Already said inclusion, and that's not lying. And you know how it is when we doing it here at the Old Globe. The squad is exuberant. Let's go.
That was amazing. Please give it up one more time for Lil Adam and Ric Scales. All right, so check that one off the list. We created a new theme song, so I think it's time for us to start creating some other things today. I think it's time for us to meet our featured artist. That's going to happen every 15 minutes for the next couple hours. Our featured artist is an incredible theater artist all around San Diego. I got to meet them actually right here at Word Up for the Pride Word Up event that we did. They were the community guest, and today they're coming back as the featured artist. Please do check your program to get more information on them. Check the caption to the video. There's so many ways that you can connect with this amazing artist who I'm truly honored to call my friend. So please give a very warm welcome to the stage, Farah Dinga. Look at that sound.
Hello.
That was
Assalamu
nice.
alaikum, yo.
Welcome.
Hi.
We made it to the stage.
We did.
Good
And
job.
look at this couch.
Well, let's go ahead. I'm just noticing in this moment that this TV, I forgot to move down off the stage. So if I could ask for some assistance, we're gonna go ahead and move that down here so that you can. Yeah, You can get your
Is it union
your
rules? Can I help
project
you
in the
move it?
thing.
No, I can't. Okay, I'm gonna
Thank
sit
you,
over here.
thank you, friends. Thank you, friends. Right there is perfect. Look at us. We're doing great.
This is beautiful.
Farah, let's have a seat on our beautiful set, yeah? Please. Please. So, Farah,
Yeah.
you do a lot of things.
I do a lot of things. I've been known to do many things in my time as a human.
You perform,
I do.
you write,
I do.
you direct, you produce.
I do.
You're a very active person around the San Diego theater scene. The thing that we are going to work on with you today is specifically playwriting.
Yes.
So every time that we do a Word Up, there's a different featured artist and there's a different art form that we're working with in order to create a new piece of art together. So I'm super excited to embark on playwriting with you. But if I had no frame of reference for what playwriting is, could you define it for us?
Yeah, it's where you put things that people say in a dramatic format on a piece of paper. You know, if I was talking currently the way that I am talking now, you could put it on a piece of paper and you could call it a play if people performed it. I don't know if it would be the best play, but it would be a play.
It would be a play about playwriting.
Yeah.
And about what it
Performing
is
this
and
thing
about
at the
defining
Old Globe.
playwriting
Yeah,
as something that you put on.
exactly. And hopefully there's like a who, what, where, and like a why. Hopefully there's a why. If you're seeing a play and there's not a why, that's usually an indicator that it's not a great play. Thank you.
But still a play, potentially.
But it is still a play.
Hey.
So, yeah.
So the piece that we're going to be working off of today is your one human play called Buckets. Could you tell us a little bit about it without giving away too much of what we're going to be writing together?
Yeah, so a lot of my playwriting focuses around identity, particularly South Asian, Southwest Asian, and queer identity. So this is a one human show that I started the process of writing about 2 years ago in the wake of my grandfather's death. So I'm biracial. My mother is Irish and Czechoslovakian, and she's blonde and blue-eyed, and my father's from Pakistan. And so it's kind of a show about wrestling with both of those halves, in addition to like being a queer individual, and what, you know, racism looks like in a family and how that operates in space and how it affects people. Yeah.
So through this play, we're going to be having a conversation about these themes that you're kind of talking about, which is why I love getting to do this with so many different artists and getting to have artist-led conversations about what's important to you in the work that you create. My question is, there are so many different art forms. There are so many ways to express oneself. So what is it about playwriting that no other art form can do in quite the same way?
Create opportunities for yourself and your community. I became a writer because I was very frustrated with the relegating of my identity to very specific spaces. There isn't a lot of plays for Southwest Asian people to participate in that aren't steeped in colonial identity or in racism or Islamophobia. And so I wanted to start making shows that spoke to myself and my community, and that provided opportunities for us to flourish in our full selves on a stage and tell our stories that are dope. Yeah.
Hey.
So that's why I think that's playwriting. Yeah.
So I'm super glad. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. And we're going to dive into that. We're going to all have the opportunity to kind of explore the ways that the themes and topics that you're talking about are tangible in our own lives and how we can relate to so much of this. So there's one more person that we need to bring to participate in this collaboration, though. And we're doing another new thing this time, because usually I would ask you as the featured artist to suggest a community guest, because we want to have somebody else on stage to, as we're having the conversation, as we're asking all these questions, to get another person's perspective and literally amplify also the things that they're saying, because it makes the final piece that we're working on so much richer. And there are so many amazing members of our community here in San Diego who we want to get to share and to connect with and to participate in these conversations. So my prompt usually is, who is an important San Diegan? And whoever that is to you is fine. We've had people bring their dad, we've had people bring their music student, we've had people bring different community organizers along with them. but I chose this time. I didn't even ask you.
She's wonderful.
Because once you were telling me that you wanted to just stack this lineup and you wanted to like really, really celebrate Southwest Asian and North African culture, which is why I have my purse / manouche that I never have any reason to bring anywhere, so I had to bring it on stage with me today. I was so excited because there's somebody who comes to my mind all the time when I think of incredible San Diegans who are wonderful leaders and who are a really integral part of our community. So I would love to welcome to the stage today's community guest, Wahida Hamdard. Welcome, Wahida. Welcome.
Thank you guys. Can you guys hear me?
It'll turn on. Keep talking a little bit.
We'll get there. We'll get there together.
Does it work?
It's off? Oh, then we'll get it from your pocket. So while Wahida's mic is getting turned on, let me tell you how I first met Wahida. I told you about how I used to work in El Cajon, and I got to meet Wahida as part of the Peacemakers after-school program that I was running, which was where there was a lot of public speaking practice. And how would you describe Peacemakers, Wahida?
Yeah, Peacemaker was a great space for us. Most of our students were refugee kids, right? So it was a safe space where you could share your stories and not feel that you're being judged. It was just a safe space. But I'm Wahida. Nice to see you guys. I'm from Afghanistan. I was born in Afghanistan, but at the age of 7, my family moved to India, where we lived as refugees for 6 years. And then in 2016, the UN approved our case, and I'm so grateful to be here in America, in San Diego. We lived here for 5 years. And I can officially say that I'm an Afghan American because I got my citizenship last month. But being born as a female in Afghanistan and then moving to India and then finally coming to a country where women and men all have the same rights, it has changed my perspective. It has changed the way I think, the way I do anything in life. And I am always fascinated about women's rights. Currently, I'm a first-year student at San Diego State studying international relations and hoping to work with United Nations one day and be a voice for those Afghan women whose voices are stolen. I want to fight for Afghan women's rights. Although I'm not a poet, but I did write 2 poems about women. In high school, hopefully many of you guys know what happened in Afghanistan a few months ago. The terrorists took over our country, and it's very difficult to see it from a very far distance, especially if your family's still there. My family, all my uncles, my grandparents are still in Afghanistan, so it's very chaotic. It's very stressful sometimes to watch the news and see what's happening in Afghanistan, but I know we're all going to go through this, and one day there will be freedom in Afghanistan. I believe in this. I'll fight for it.
Wahida, yes. We're so glad. I also realized because of I didn't get to give you a hug since you came on stage. Thank you so much for being here. And I know the poems that you were just speaking about, we're breaking another have a seat, word up rule, which is usually we don't put any responsibilities on the community guest. Usually all you have to do is just come, be yourself, participate in the conversation. But because you're such an amazing public speaker and because you have these poems, would you share them with us?
Yes, of course. So I wrote 2 poems. The first one is, I'll stand.
Yeah.
The first one is about any Afghan girl that would be born in Afghanistan and think that way. It's sad, I'm going to say this, but when I shared this poem before, I usually said that a long time ago, girls were being sold so the parents can make money and just live. But it's so sad, and I'm so heartbroken to say that it's happening now in Afghanistan where girls are being sold so the parents can have money and just bring food, and it's extremely heartbroken. It's especially for me as a female, as an Afghan American girl. But this poem I wrote in high school a few years ago. So here we go. Before I was born at night, people were waiting with fireworks and sweet corn. Then they heard my cries and heard it's a girl. They went home without any celebrations or any greetings. As I was growing up, I realized how sad it is to be a girl in this dirty world. I was told not to wear certain clothes because they were too tight, too loose, too shiny, too bright, and not to go out because it's night. Life is a prison, ask a girl. Life is not a fairy tale or all rosy for a girl like me, who has no powers, no values, no rights, but only a low price. Thank you. As I mentioned before, I was born in Afghanistan, then moved to India where I lived for 6 years, and then finally here. The second poem is mainly about myself and what I plan to do in future. It's called The Bird, and I have this cage. I chose this cage because of my poem. So here we go. A bird used to stuck in a cage with no doors, a cage with no windows. The bird was just like other kids, wanted to play, wanted to study, but the society didn't allow. The parents of the bird tried their best to give her freedom, but the bird had no hopes for freedom until one day, when the bird parents decided to move to another country. The cage also smiled at her. Finally, the bird came to a new country. She saw other birds flying high in the blue sky. She becomes sad because of her past, but yesterday is gone. Now the bird can also fly in the high blue sky. She starts working hard so she can help other birds in the cages. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Wahida.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It's so fun. It's interesting because that's actually the first time that I've gotten to hear those two poems, and now I'm seeing so much how the imagery that's on the stage fits so perfectly into so much of what we're talking about today. Because one of the things that we do also with each episode program is that the featured artist, and as often as possible, the community guest, join myself along with the incredible props department at the Old Globe Theater at the giant tech warehouse that we have in southeastern San Diego. It's like, I mean, you've seen it. How would you describe it?
It's a warehouse of beautiful couches. Like, it's amazing. Like, anything. We were like, do you have more bird cages? And they were like, yeah, we have 17.
Right?
Yeah.
You can literally find anything there.
Yeah.
The rugs, everything, so beautiful.
And as we're walking through these different aisles that are stacked all the way to the ceilings of this warehouse with so much stuff, we're just looking for what you both are drawn to and what things you think kind of relate to the themes or to the feelings of what you're talking about. So we see, would you share with us a little bit of the imagery that we can see?
Yeah, I think originally I said I wanted it to look like my auntie's living room, but gay. And I think we maybe got there a little bit.
Yeah.
But I know Wahida had mentioned the bird cages, and my piece, one of my pieces, also deals with birds and their imagery, which was wild how specific this like one piece of symbolism was across both of our pieces and both of our artistry, which is really exciting. And then just, you know, Southwest Asian culture has like a lot of roses and gold and like beauty. And for myself, I just wanted to elevate that and show something beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Specifically the red rug. If you come to my home, we have red rugs everywhere. If you go to any Afghan's house, they have red rugs. So I was thinking that the red rug would represent my culture. And I know back in Pakistan, red rugs are a huge thing as well. So
absolutely.
It's beautiful how it matches our household.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that we've made it to this point where like we've got the set on stage, the props department has designed these beautiful roses spilling out of the cage, and you might understand them a little bit more as the program goes along. But it's taken a lot, especially because you're both extremely busy people, busy artists, busy students. Wahida, you are so busy. You're a student, you have a job, you're very involved with your family, and you've still found time to be volunteering recently. Wow. Can you tell us a little bit about your volunteering?
Yes. When the terrorists took over in Afghanistan, many Afghans fled. I mean, if you saw the news, many Afghans were just fleeing to the airport. And my aunt happens to be one of them. I saw her after 10 years in America, so it was very cool. But so many Afghans are coming to our community, to San Diego. And as we all know, the housing crisis is happening right now. There are so many Afghans that are still living in hotels, waiting to find a house. And I thought I can use my skills, my language skills. The least I can do right now is use my language skills and volunteer with local organizations to help resettle these new Afghans. I am volunteering with Kind Heart. Kind Heart is a nonprofit organization in San Diego, mainly in El Cajon. They're helping the new Afghans. It originally started in 2016 when the Syrian crisis happened. But right now with the Afghans, they're taking more steps to help these Afghans, and I think you would have the links on your, right?
Yeah, on your program and also in the caption to the video. There's the website for Kind Hearts. You can get the link to Kind Hearts website and read a whole lot about different ways that you can support. There's contact information about on there also if you have more ideas of how to support. But for example, things like furniture, you know.
Yes, furnitures or groceries, or the kids are starting schools, so school items, anything that you can donate. You can go to the links and read more about how can you make those donations. But it's extremely hard to come to a new country where you don't speak the language, where you don't know the culture. I experienced it twice, once in India and then once here. So I know it's very stressful for these Afghans that are coming, but I'm so grateful that they're here, especially the kids, because I know they're all going to have a great future here.
So please, throughout the program, those bells are going to keep ringing every 15 minutes, and usually we come up with some little shtick, like every time the bells ring, we're going to dance or something like that, instead of trying to compete with them. But what I'd love to invite you to do today is every time you hear the bells ring, whether or not we sort of pause our movement, if that could just be a little reminder to like pull out your phone, scan that code, look up those websites, read a little bit about the work that folks are doing. And if you're able to participate in this community-led movement, do in whatever ways that you can. But we're very casual here, as you can see, so if you're pulling your phones out and doing things, that's totally fine. For all we know, you could be participating directly in the program. So check out those websites every time that the bells ring, yeah?
Yes.
Val, is there anything that we're missing in the YouTube chat? Should we say hi to anybody?
Yes, please, because we have a lot of highs from our usual audience and some more. Joey from the gift shop is checking in. Declan, of course. Michelle is joining in.
Michelle.
TG Goose is also like, hey, I'm late, but I'm here. Hey, everybody. Everybody's saying great. Everybody is saying that everything looks gorgeous and we all look gorgeous. Everybody's very excited. Animated Bunny is present as well. Hey. So thank you. Muchas gracias.
Thanks, Val. Thank you. Is there anything else that you all want to talk about before we start creating a work of art together?
I love you. Thanks for being here. Thanks to the Globe for like doing arts engagement things. And also, I can count the amount of times that I have gotten to engage in theater with other Southwest Asian and South Asian and North African people on like one hand. So it's really exciting to have an absolute plethora of beautiful human beings and community members here today to commemorate this moment and to share in art and love and all of these things. It's really, thank you for providing space.
Thank you for creating this opportunity to have a Southwest Asian and North African theme, because I love getting to be here with both of you. And I've got my manouche, I've got my Lebanon, my Lebanon ring, and I will like to say, Valeria, you also are part of us, right?
Yes, I am. My great-grandfather came from Beirut, but he got to Mexico and he decided to stay in Veracruz, Mexico. Yeah.
So I'm very excited because we Lebanese people like to claim everything that we can. Like Shakira, she's Lebanese. Tony Shalhoub, Lebanese. Boats, we made them. The alphabet, that was us. And someone as amazing as Valeria, like, she's Lebanese. Okay, so here we go. The next part of this program, you're going to have the opportunities to engage in the ways that we discussed. You can shout out your responses. We've got Vero all around the audience supporting. We've got the YouTube chat that's open. But I want to encourage you to, even as we go through this next part, even if you don't share your response, reflect on it for yourself. Because so much of this is about the questions that Farah has brought to us to explore, to imagine, to discover. And the only rule for the whole portion is that when we ask you a question, please make sure that your responses are inclusive and reflect the fact that we're on the plaza, we've got kids around, we want to make sure that everybody who's in this space feels like this is the space for them. So please be conscientious about what you say, but that's the only rule. There is no rule about what you say being true. We love our imaginations here. So if you have a response to a reflection question that we have, you can tell the truth, or you could say something else, but there should be no assumption that anything anybody says in the chat, in person, or even on the stage is true. All right?
Yes, to that.
Hey. So here we go. We're going to do this Mad Lib style with a bunch of questions that we ask you and then put it all together at the end. So let's go away with our first question, eh? What's a bird that is specific to our San Diego and Tijuana coastline? Starting off with a little, you know, a little curveball there, right? You didn't think you're gonna have to pull out your phone and Google it.
Yes.
But what is a bird that's specific? I know. You gotta, you know, there's no rules about cheating. You can look up the answer. But I could very confidently say exactly one, which is the cormorant. It's kind of a big deal that we have them. They're those birds, when you know when you go down by La Jolla Cove and it smells terrible. And you think it's the seals. It's not. It's the birds.
Them?
It's the birds, and it's all their stuff collecting on the rocks. And then when it gets warm and sunny and the water washes up, it gets all frothy and delicious. I just watched all your faces just, no. But cormorants are specific to our coastline, and they're a very special, unique bird. Birds.
Sandpiper. I don't think we actually do have sandpipers, do we?
Do we?
Do we?
We do.
Yes, thank
got
you.
an
I've been corroborated. I have a source.
I'm glad. I knew
Confirmation back here.
confirmation, more confirmation. We've got sandpipers. Any other birds? Anybody know of any other birds? Pelicans. I don't know that bird. Could you say it to the mic?
Least turn.
Least turn. I'm learning. We're learning. Okay, we've got least terns. We've got sandpipers, cormorants, pelicans, seagulls, pigeons. I don't know if we could claim those.
We have gulls here,
Gulls.
pelicans as well, and those electric scooters.
Those electric scooters.
Well, they're called birds.
Bird scooters. That's a good one, my friend.
Good one,
Native to the coastline, really.
Very good.
Crows,
Very good.
Crows as well. That's true in Chula
Crows.
Vista. In National City, we have a bunch in the canyon.
Yeah.
And that's where they live. So
Oh,
yeah.
that's where they live. I always see them like in a giant parade at sunset every
Yes.
day. So there we go. We just did our first question. That's all it is. It's that deep. Give yourselves a round of applause for question number 1. All right, question number 2. What's a scent that reminds you of a beloved parent figure? Any scent. What's a scent that reminds you of a beloved parent figure?
Cinnamon?
I would say onions. My mom cooks, so she's a housewife and she cooks all the time, so I would say onions.
What do you say, like fresh onions, fresh cut onions?
Yes,
or
yes,
grilling?
fresh cut onions.
Ooh. So it's like also the tears. I love the smell of fresh cut onions. I was gonna say garlic, like the smell of cooking garlic in the house. It's like there's only one person who could possibly be browning some garlic right now, and that's my mom. What do you think, Farah?
Oh man, curry. Just curry all the time, always. Yeah.
I'm very like food focused up here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are there any scents that remind you? Ric's dad used to wear Happy Clinique for men. That is so specific. That's Happy Clinique for men. I feel that. I can also, like my dad's cologne, Paco Rabanne.
Paco Rabanne, yeah, that was fancy.
But they don't sell it in many places, so that was always like my Christmas mission is like, I'm going to find the person who has it in the back.
Yeah.
Any other scents?
Anyone?
Yeah.
English lavender.
English
Ooh.
lavender? That smells delicious. That
sounds
I can't
lovely.
smell, but it sounds delicious. And we got a hint. English rose. Ooh, specific species or genuses of rose. I don't know the exact terminology though.
Anyone?
Yeah, I love that. I love that. We got a hand over there? Vicks Vapor Rub.
Yeah, completely.
Nice,
Well,
nice.
it depends. In your house, is it Vapor Rub or Vaporub?
Yeah, there you go.
Vaporub, yeah, that's how we call it. I have tamales here. Yes, thank you.
Tamales.
I also loved
Yum.
watching
Scent
all
of
the brown people go,
tamales.
yeah! Vicks!
We love Vicks. I feel like also from like going to grandma, like I didn't even know what the smell of her garage. I don't know what the garage smelled like. It smelled so specific though. I don't know if it was a smell of like cardboard boxes or like San Diego garage baking in the heat. You know, there's like a specific smell to it that's like, grandma's house.
Oh,
All right.
I have a place. I was actually just commenting to Valeria earlier. We have, bakeries, but in Mexico you have panaderias, which because of the pan dulce, it just smells extra sugary and sweet. And when I lived with my grandmother, that was one of our little weekly walks. So that smell, grandma, 100 times.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that.
Sweet.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that memory.
Absolutely. Inspire anyone else? Yeah. Yeah.
I remember my grandmother froze lemon in the freezer and put it on her skin.
Oh my God.
And she used cold Pond's cream and she used frozen lemon.
Wow.
And you could always, she had beautiful skin. I remember.
Good tip.
I'm going to try. No, I want to try it.
Everyone's taking notes right now.
We're talking about
Nice.
food.
I know.
Food here, fried fish. Made me think of my mom.
Fried
Carqueries made me think of my dad. And perhaps, and I'm going to agree with this one, a vague smell of cats. We know how
A little bit, not too much, just a little bit. I love it. I love it. Okay, so we're gonna move on to a little arbitrary one. We've got an SAT word for you. What's the most asinine thing you could make out of paper mache? Asinine being like silly or ridiculous or pointless. If you were gonna make something out of paper mache, this would be the most ridiculous thing you could choose. Yes. A book cover. That's, yeah, I feel that. I was going to say like a bowl or a plate, like anything that you're trying to eat off of. Like, why? Why would you make a paper mache plate? Any
I
ideas?
would say a tree.
A tree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For why?
Right.
For who?
For who? Any other things? Any other? Paper mache swimming trunks.
Yes.
It's a great way to ruin a pool.
That's a good one. That's a really good
Or a
one.
paper mache pool.
Yeah.
Paper mache
Yeah.
pool.
That one also.
Yeah.
There you
Rubber
go.
duck. I mean, you got us on a good thread there. Anybody else want to weigh in on this one?
Shoes.
Shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A
Not sure about
sock.
that one.
Yeah.
An
A
umbrella.
sock.
I heard umbrella
Yes,
back there,
our
right?
brains just synced up. That was weird. Get out of my head, sir. But yes, umbrella.
A fire extinguisher? No point. No point. Yeah? Earrings. I believe that they could be cute, but they're not. Yeah. Yeah. Too much. Yes? A paper mache water bottle. Specifically. That's a good one. I'm glad we don't do those.
Hence why they're asinine.
Yeah. One more time.
Hence why they're asinine.
Yes. Thank you. There's our SAT word. I did look it up I just needed to make sure I was using it correctly before I put it down.
Over
Okay.
here we have a macaroni sculpture.
A macaroni
A
sculpture.
macaroni sculpture. Newspaper and a sock.
Nice. The newspaper is kind of fun because it's like, good point.
Oh,
You
and
know?
a drink coaster. Animated Bunny added that.
A
just
drink
now.
coaster, yeah. I feel that. All right. This is one of our more arbitrary questions, which is why I loved throwing it in.
I'm a fan of it.
So now we're going to move a little less arbitrary. What makes you feel connected to your heritage? Whatever your heritage is and however you take that question, what makes you feel connected to your heritage? Want to share?
Food. Definitely food. And music. I feel like music too.
Yeah? You know what those
Speaking
bells
of.
do. You know what we're remembering. We're thinking about those amazing community-led organizations. Wahida, what makes you feel connected to your heritage?
I thought of food as well, but then
Yeah.
I was like, oh, she said it. I have to think something different.
We can say the same thing. We can have.
You could be like food and then be even more specific about
Yeah, I would say photo albums. We have this photo album at our house where we have pictures from Afghanistan, then India, and then here. So I think it's a very, sometimes I look at it and I remember everything that happened in my life, and I'm like, wow, this
Yeah.
is very significant in my life, and I hope I keep it. I lost it once, but then I found it, so I was really happy. And so I would say photo album is something that helps me stay connected with my family and everyone.
I'm totally with you on that. Like the old scrapbooks, remembering like in specificity and learning sometimes in specificity, like what actually, like who actually my grandparents are, my great grandparents, great uncles and great aunts, like learning. I feel like the learning through scrapbooks, through asking questions, or even through just like documentaries and stuff, just having a better understanding of what the heritage actually means definitely helps me feel more connected and understand better. But what makes you feel connected to your heritage? The Friday night Sabbath, like the service in your home. I love that. I love it's
like the
interesting.
traditions,
Yeah,
right?
like
celebrating
tradition.
the important days, the traditional days. In my case, well, Dia de Muertos, right? Like all of those days that bring you back to your culture.
Yeah, the rituals, that take place, like the foods from every holiday. It's like we all know what we're eating next week, you know, and it's what we've been eating for years on this day.
I think the relics too. That's another thing that I'm thinking about. Like my nose ring was my grandmother's, my daddy ma's, and then my auntie's, and now mine.
Yeah.
And so it's like made its way through the family.
Oh.
Yeah. Like the talisman.
That's
the talisman of
beautiful.
your family.
Heirloom.
The heirloom. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
That's amazing.
Is there anything that we didn't touch on yet that anybody, like a realm of
Like for me, it's like fashion.
fashion?
Like it's just like it's always been like a cultural part. Like for me, it's like a person that does like hip hop and stuff like that. Like it's part of like culture to dress a certain way or.
Can we get? I was gonna try to repeat what you were saying so people on YouTube could hear you, but I don't think I should try. Thanks.
For me, fashion, like being a African American man, and hip hop being a part of my culture, like the fashion, the clothes that we wear, and the way we wear our clothes and stuff. That's another thing that makes me feel in tune, you know, with my culture.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. We got like clothing, fashion.
Over here, there's a
food.
beautiful one. Speaking the language.
Speaking the language.
Speaking the language, including all the old sayings.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel most connected when my mom yells at me in Spanish.
That's really beautiful.
It really reminds me where I come from.
Yeah, like super close to my roots in that moment. I love that. Thank you very much for sharing. Got one more? Oh. Wow.
She's going to make me cry. That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
Would you repeat that for us, Vero, also for the YouTubers?
She said that not just looking at her children, but her grandchildren, and seeing that connection in the future and what will be. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. That was a really interesting, like, extra level to bring to it. Yeah? Dancing. Oh, I love that. Dance, songs, the music, the food, the clothing, all these kind of things that are coming up about culture and heritage and ancestry and lineage. Thank you very much, everybody, for sharing. I think we're doing a great job, right? I think we're doing great.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we've got another one. Or another sensory one. What is a pivotal smell from your childhood? So before we were thinking about smells that specifically reminded us of parent figures, but this is just a smell from childhood that's totally it. I had a cherry lip balm that I probably, it wasn't nice or anything, but that's a pivotal smell. Yeah. I had it for an awful long time.
Yeah.
Got a hand?
Cut grass.
The smell of cut grass. I love that. Are there any pivotal smells from your childhood?
Yeah, I would say, sorry. I would say when I lived in India, my friends, like my classmates would bring lunch from home. And Indian food is very spicy. So the spices, the oil, the smell in the classroom. So I would say that reminds me of like my school days in India and some of my best days.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I feel the smells of school, totally. I think if I smelled like an individually portioned Little Caesars pizza again, which was the food that most of was like being provided at lunch, it'd probably take me back. Is there a pivotal smell from your childhood, Farah?
Yeah, I think like waking up to the smell of mango puri during Ramadan, because you'd get woken up by like your whole, like all of your aunties cooking at like 4 a.m. At like 4 a.m., you can like smell the garlic being fried and like the sweet smell of mangoes like wafting up the stairs and fresh puris being fried.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Farah, can you tell us what'd you say, puris?
Puris, yeah. So there's like a mango. It's almost like a mango sauce or puree, and then you eat them. That's like fried dough essentially, and it gets like really fluffy and has like big, like think like a naan bread, but like way crispier. And
I want that now.
It is delightful. Yeah, it is delightful.
That sounds delightful.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have it in our Afghan culture, but when we lived in India, I love it.
You had it?
Yes. Yeah, we still have it during Ramadan. When we first went to India, we were like, the food is so spicy, it's so bad, it's this. We didn't eat food for like 4 days. We were just eating cookies with chai because we were like, their food is so spicy. And now I'm like, Indian food is my favorite.
Yeah.
It just makes me think of how much we change based on where we live.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, totally.
And for folks who may not know, Pakistani food and Indian food are very similar. Like Northern Indian and Pakistani food are very similar because we share a border and shared culture for a very long time and all these things. So there's a lot of overlap between dishes and stuff like that.
I'm definitely feeling hungry, and I know that I left my lunch upstairs, and I'm like, oh, it's not going to be as good as that, though.
I know. Maybe that's why I asked, because I was hungry. I'm like, tell me more about that.
Yeah. Dude, go on. Give me any more details.
Tell me what's more detailed. Talk slower.
Any more pivotal smells from your childhood? Right up here?
Yes.
I can learn to understand you much better if I can get familiar with
Ooh,
Lavash.
freshly baked lavash. Oh my gosh.
Speaking my language.
What's lavash?
Bread.
That's the bread, right? Oh my goodness.
Over
There's
here
nothing
we
like
are
that.
very specific. We
Yeah.
have Bath and Body Works cucumber melon lotion. The smell of my childhood pet.
Oh. Yeah.
And the smell of slightly overdone cookies.
Wow. Yeah.
For me, I would say Play-Doh. I don't know why.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Good one.
I would love that smell. I literally were like, and every time that I see some Play-Doh, I'm like,
Yeah. Well, were you getting the store-bought Play-Doh or the homemade Play-Doh?
the store-bought.
Okay, that smelled really good. The
Yeah.
homemade had a distinctly different smell, and you could eat it, and I could not stop eating
never
it. It
tried
was so.
the homemade. Like
It doesn't taste good. It doesn't. It's like salt, flour, and water, or something like that. It's a super simple. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But my mom couldn't get me to stop eating it. Got one back there.
Here.
I have two. So one would be jasmine, because they planted jasmine on a lot of the streets where I grew up.
Yeah.
And the other would be smelly old golden, because we had golden retrievers that were quite smelly.
Oh my gosh. Smelly old golden. That does kind of ring a bell of like summertime, like summer by the pool, and there's hair and chlorine and all kinds of good stuff. Yeah. Chlorine. I feel that. Like the smell of chlorine is totally like pink sparkly swimsuit with my best friend playing alligator or mermaid or something.
And like the inside of an old church.
The inside of an old church.
Musty.
Ooh, yeah.
Talk about like the old attic makes me smell like
Yeah.
specific, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. If somebody knows what that specific old smell is of an attic or a basement or a garage, like if you mothballs, maybe it's mothballs and dust that we feel so much affection for. Could be. I think that's our standing answer. So unless anybody else does some Google research, in which case please report back, that's what we're attached to, mothballs and dust. There's a specific type of soap, and I'd never figured out exactly what it was. But during the 2003 Cedar fires, I stayed with a friend in it who like didn't have to get evacuated, and so and there was a specific smell of soap that her mom always put out, and I never knew what it was. But sometimes I'll use someone's soap, or I'll be somewhere. Even it's like sometimes even in schools or stuff. It's so weird. Like I don't know what it was, but it's just that 2 weeks. It's like that smell. And it's like a pivotal smell from my childhood. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the scent is, but it's so specific.
You just reminded me specifically of soap. I don't know anyone that uses this soap now, but whenever I come across Irish Spring, Irish Spring, I'm like, abuelo, it's my grandpa. Big time. So that's my childhood. I lived with my grandparents as a kid. And and Irish Spring, oh my God, all day.
We stand Irish Spring on the plaza. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. So as we keep thinking about memories, we talked a little bit about our elders, but I'd love for folks to call to mind who were your beloved elders in childhood. Who were those people? And then what we want to know is, what did you call them? What was their name? What was their nickname? How did you refer to them?
My daddy ma, my grandmother on my dad's side, my daddy ma. Hanifa Dinga, beautiful, beautiful human. I grew up living with like my whole, like very classic first gen brown immigrant baby life, like household of 20 people, like all of the aunties and uncles. But my daddy ma, definitely.
Daddy ma number one. Daddy ma number one.
Oh yeah. We stand Daddy Ma in the plaza also.
We do. I do too. I do too. Do you have what did you call your
Yeah,
brothers?
I also think of my grandma. I mean, the last time I saw her was 11 years ago. And we still talk on phone sometimes, and hopefully I can go back and see her again maybe soon. But looking at the current situations, I don't think it would be very soon. But I called my grandma Ade.
Ade?
Yeah, Ade, which in our culture we call someone older Ade as well, or our grandparents. Some people do call their moms Ade as well, but I called my grandma Ade, and yeah, I hope I meet her.
Yes, I love that. Ade. We got Ade, Daddy Ma. I had grandma, granddad, teta, jiddo. Like ammo is like uncle, but also familiar kind of. What did you call your beloved elders during your childhood?
My grandpa was just Pawpaw.
Pawpaw? Classic. There were some heads that nodded also when you said that. I think there's a few of those.
My grandpa, his name was Dionisio.
Really?
Yeah, but we used to always call him Tati.
Tati.
It was our Tati. Instead of Tata, we made it Tati, like a little bit more intimate.
Wow, Tati, I love that. And Dada and Dionisio, I had that reaction. I feel like that probably seemed really out of place.
You got it. You got it, right?
Yeah. Valeria's done some work with the name Dionisio. That's beautiful. So I was very excited to learn
his
that.
legacy,
Learn about
I
you.
try to always put it in everything that I do.
Wow, I had no idea. That's
I
really
just
cool.
connected those dots too.
Yeah, the whole moment. And what are some other nicknames? And remember, you can always make them up. You could just say a random. You could just be like, I called my grandma Turtle Dove, and we'll buy it. We'll take it. Yeah. Tita. Your abuelita. You called her Tita. I saw a hand over here. Pope.
Yes.
Oh, it's supposed to be Bubba, but the little one couldn't pronounce it. It became Pope.
Pope.
I love that. I love the names that come out of a very small child not being able to pronounce the full thing. I called myself Loa for a really long time. Ours were hard. Ours were really hard.
Over here we have Ninang, which is good mother. It means good mother, Ninang. And everybody's going to grandma, grandpa. So yeah. Lola as well is another
Lola,
name.
I love that. Wow. I love how much variation there is in here,
Yeah,
you know?
and they're loving Farah, the questions and
good.
the answers. Here it's like, oh my God, the questions and the answers. It's like, it's amazing.
We've got a whole range from asinine paper mache projects.
Yeah, tell me about your
to
paper mache
our
swim
heritage.
trunks. to who is your most important human, and what did you call them as a small child? We love.
Yep. I want to call out the bells ring again. So we're just thinking again about the hard work that so many people are doing for our neighbors here in San Diego. So check out Kind Heart and check out the websites that are on your program. The next question, we're moving right along. Okay, so this question, many people might have responses for this. We're especially thinking of people who come from immigrant families or who have friends who are coming from an immigrant background, because when you have an aunt coming from a very long way away, you know those suitcases are full of stuff. And you know it's all going to come out of the suitcase and get full of a whole different set of stuff and go back.
Yes.
But when the suitcases are arriving, we want to know what gifts from traveling friends or family members makes their luggage the most fragrant. What's the thing that makes it so that when you like unzip and open it, like the whole room changes? What do you think?
I'm thinking of dry fruits, but then I'm thinking, does dry fruits have a smell?
They do.
Yeah, I feel
they
like
do.
yeah,
like a heavy sweetness,
I
maybe?
would say dry fruits. People from Afghanistan, they love dry fruits. We have dry fruits every time we have tea. So, and then sweets as well. Sweets, the
Yeah.
smell of sweet. I'm hungry right now, but the smell of sweet and dry fruits.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. We think that we're like, you know, having this deep conversation about the things that are important to us, and we're really just hungry the whole time.
Yeah, and it's an excuse to talk about food, right?
Yeah, yeah. I love the smell of the sweets, though.
Yeah, I feel like every question has an answer of food.
Yeah. We could make it food
Got it
if
on the
we
mind.
tried.
Yeah. I think for me, like, going is the smell of almond roca. For some reason, my Desi family is like obsessed with almond roca.
Yes,
Everyone
to
wants
that.
it, and you can't get it in Pakistan or in England. So like whenever I'm visiting family, that's what my suitcase smells like.
Wow.
And then when I'm coming back, Pakistan just has this like very specific smell, and I really think it's in the fabric of our clothes. Like the fabric smells
Ah.
like Pakistan, and I don't know how to quantify that. But it's like
Interesting.
this like it's a mixture of like it's like spicy old book smell.
Ooh.
Spicy old book
Ooh.
is maybe arguably the smell of Pakistan when my family opens up those suitcases and it's filled with like suits that you can't get here.
Yeah.
The fabric smells like that.
Yeah.
Would you relate it to the smell of a library book, or it's different?
Maybe a library book. I feel it reminds me of like when you go to a used bookstore. When you go to a used bookstore
Yeah.
and you pick something up from like the 60s and it's like annotated and like has it's like lived a well-lived life.
Yeah.
That's what that reminds me
Yes,
of.
that's a beautiful smell.
And look at that. That's not related to food. We did great. We can talk about
I mean, I do eat books. I shouldn't.
food for the soul.
Yeah.
I really like the idea, the smell of the clothes. I feel that as well. I mean, I've never went back to Afghanistan, but one time my uncle sent some clothes for us, and I felt that smell when I opened the bag. So I don't know how to like clearly state that smell, right? I don't know what would smell like.
It's
the
hard
smell
to
of fabric.
it's hard to quantify unless you've smelled it. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I'm kind of bringing it back to food, the spices, like the za'atar, which is what's on this. Gotta show this off. I really never get a chance to use it. It's a purse, it has a zipper, and it's like a manouche. So the spices that go on top of this are like definitely super fragrant. The sweets, the batlewa, like the marzipan. So baklava, batlewa, same thing. But yeah, all that kind of stuff. What do you
Over
feel?
here we have incense and chocolate, because they say in the Philippines it's a luxury. So when they always travel, they have a couple of suitcases of chocolate when they go back home to the Philippines.
That's so interesting. We got we're learning about the things like the almond roca. I didn't know about that one. What else? What are some of the things that make luggage smell so fragrant? Any ideas? I feel like going back, shampoo. It's like lots of like shampoo and hair products.
Especially when it spills.
Yeah. Or like, what does Big Lots smell like? Because that's like all the little trinkets and products and things, you know? Is there any other people want to weigh in on the plaza or in the chat? Are we going once? Going twice? All right. If anybody thinks of something too late, how about at the end of this, we'll like do a last call for all question responses because we're almost done here.
I think that one was a thinker. We are all stumped out here.
I know. So that's why I want to make sure that we'll make some space for it at the end also.
We're on it. Or they can type it in the chat if they want.
Or put it in the chat.
And I can get it.
So here we go. What delicious food items were unique to your family growing up?
I would share. My family has rice like every week, once or twice, especially biryani, which is an Indian dish. And as I mentioned, we didn't like the food in the beginning, and now we have biryani every week, at least once or twice. So I would say biryani is like something very close to my family. It's not something very significant in Afghan culture, but it is in Indian or Pakistani culture. But in my family culture, because we're such a diverse family in 3 different, and I actually have 2 brothers who were born in India and a sister who was born here. So we are a diverse family. So I would say biryani is one of those items that are very special or significant to my family.
I love that. Is it flavored differently each time, or is there like a spice that's flavoring it?
Yeah, I mean, my siblings and I, we really like it spicy, but then our parents are like, spicy? Not too spicy. You guys make it too spicy. So we try not to make it too spicy or very less spicy. So I think the spice, like the hot spicy masala.
Masala.
Yum.
We go hard on the spice. We go really hard on the spice in South Asia, I feel like. Biryani is definitely up there for me also. And like garam masala, like that particular spice blend. Oh man. Pakola. I'm gonna go with pakola. Pakola is it's a Pakistani cream soda. It's green like our flag, and it is wild. I can't find it in the States, so if anyone has the pakola hookup here or on the internet, please find me. I really miss it. But I remember that was one of the things that my family would like smuggle me from Pakistan, was like flats of this like canned soda. It's ridiculous. It really is, but it's so tasty.
It sounds good. I like the fact that it's green.
Yeah. It is bright green. It is like cancer-inducing bright green. It is probably not FDA approved.
Maybe that's why.
That might be why I can't find it. Yeah, there we
Plus
go.
cases of it, you guys. If you find it, cases of it.
Bring it here.
So we've got some delicious food items that felt unique to your families growing up. Keep thinking. Anybody have any unique? A noodle cheese pudding called Kugla. Kugel. Hey, wow. Oh, something that's rich and has noodles in it.
Very, very good, actually.
Everything I want. I love that. That sounds great. We've got one over there.
Mine is a green apple Dutch baby that my mom used to make every Sunday after church.
Ooh.
Mine is significantly more embarrassing and probably more specific to my family. We called it hot dog roll-ups, which is a tortilla with cheese on it rolled around a hot dog. No one else.
Wait, can you say that one more time?
No judgment here.
No.
A tortilla, a flour tortilla, covered in cheese, microwaved, and then you roll a hot dog up inside of that.
Wow. That sounds great.
My ex-husband used
I love
to do
it.
that,
Thank you for
and I thought that he was the only one that did that.
You're not alone. Valeria did that too.
My God.
My sisters and I created one very similar. We called it a heart attack on a plate. It was a bed of nachos Doritos, covered in like a jar of pizza sauce with cheese on top of that, and then you put it in the microwave again and melt the cheese, and it is to die for.
Wow.
I promise you this.
Wow. I have
feel
not
like
heard that one.
I can feel my cholesterol rising.
Right?
As you're speaking.
And my appetite.
My blood pressure went up just listening to it.
Yeah.
I do have a question though. Does melting the cheese on top makes the Doritos like a solid crust thing, like a pizza?
No, it just makes the cheese melty.
Just okay.
Like
all right.
nacho cheese.
Like more like
style.
nachos then. Okay.
Over here, we had an answer too.
I'm right up here. Okay. We've got a messenger.
Cyclops, which is
Wait, we got to get a mic to find out what Cyclops is.
Please. Want to know.
Yes, a Cyclops is actually just a piece of bread fried, and you cut out a hole in the middle and put an egg in it, and then you put Worcestershire on top of it, and you flip it. It's cooked in butter or bacon grease, whatever you have. But it's called a Cyclops because it looks like one eye.
That
It's
one
the-
eye of the egg.
And the Worcestershire gives it that smell that I think you're remembering.
That sounds so
Wow.
good.
Over here, our family in
Yeah.
YouTube is saying mochis, and
Mochi.
one is saying green pea and hard-boiled egg salad. Sounds weird, but it's delicious. They're specifying that. Again, cookies and poor man's donut. It's a white bread with butter and cinnamon sugar.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, yeah.
When I was young, coming up, my family was from the South. And the thing that we used to do every Sunday morning is my mother would make rice, but it would be with just like sugar and butter. And we would eat it with like
Ooh.
biscuits and sausage. But it was like she would boil the rice to where it was like kind of creamy and sticky.
Yeah.
And then like yeah, it'd just be sugar and butter. But that was a
That
very
sounds
specific
delicious.
thing. Yeah.
That sounds so good. That sounds
Like-
really good. We're getting,
Yeah,
see,
we
we're
have
so
more
good at
over
food
here.
out here.
More
We got
ideas.
two over here, one over there.
Yes, now I remember one of my own. My mother really didn't cook, but one thing she could do, is she could take a piece of rye bread and spread ground beef over it, and then just salt and pepper it and put it in the broiler.
Huh.
And so the broiler would make the top of the ground beef crispy, kind of burnt slightly, but the inside was red, and all the juices would drip into the rye bread, and it really was delicious.
We gotta be like writing this down for like the Word Up cookbook, you know? Like we
I
know
think so,
the
'cause
heart
now-
attack on the
now
plate.
I'm asking,
the-
do I preheat it at 325 or what am I? It's just the broiler? Okay, are we, all right.
We had another
Oh,
one,
Vero, we
Vero,
got one
over
over here
here
also.
in the front.
So my great grandmother was an amazing cook. My mother is an amazing cook. So it seems to skip a generation when my grandma wasn't and I'm not either. But when I was with my grandma, she used to heat up some bread and put Nutella on it or condensed milk. We didn't have a name for it.
Yes.
But to this day, that is my favorite dessert is bread with Nutella or condensed milk.
That sounds so good. That sounds so good. And there's one over there in the sun.
Condensed milk is such a one, too.
Absolutely.
So mine is not delicious, but it's very grandma vibey. Because, so it's called ensalada de rancho because my grandma thought that ranch was rancho. So she would be like, let's make a rancho salad. Yeah, like ranch dressing.
Like oh my God.
But she would make it, and my whole life I thought that's just how you make ranch. But it was just mayo and like chicken broth, like Nor Suiza. Val knows what it is. Nor Suiza is like the chicken broth, but like seasoning and then milk. But the salad was just green beans and lettuce, and that was her. But like she would be like, "Oh, you guys are eating so healthy," but it was just like ranch and green beans.
Yeah.
But I thought it was ranch for the longest time in my life. I was convinced it was ranch until I tried ranch here, and I was like, "Oh, that's not it." Delicious.
It's different. It's different.
As Vero mentioned, like in Tijuana, there's a panaderia like in every single corner where they got the pan dulce, right? So it was a tradition in my family that the kids used to go and get the pan dulce like around 5-ish. So at 6-ish, we were having the pan dulce with the café con leche. When I was 5, they did give me coffee. But it was a tradition. It was a beautiful
Yum.
tradition.
I like
Yum. I love that.
that. Anybody else? Yeah.
Woo.
My dad used to make this, it was just carne con huevito, and it was just ground beef and eggs, but he'd always make us eat it before, like, a sports game, because he was
Wow.
like, it's the ultimate protein, like, warm-up for you.
Eggs, meat, go. That sounds great. And Vero, we've got one actually outside the stanchions, if you don't
Absolutely.
mind.
Come on over, darling. Well, I just take the chair with me.
So my family's like really diverse. So like my dad's Nigerian, and then like on my mom's side they're Korean. So one thing would be like ugusi and fufu. And ugusi is like really good. It's like this grainy, spicy type of stew. And fufu is like, it kind of looks like mashed potatoes, but you use it to eat the stew. And then on my mom's side, we would have, it's called namong, and it's like a really chewy, cold noodle, but you have to use like scissors to cut it. It's so good, because if you don't have scissors and you try to like cut it, you'll just be chewing for like the rest of your life. It's just like chewing gum. It's so bad. It's so bad. And then like my nana, they're also Muslim, so we would also have like bean pies and stuff during like Ramadan, which was like always what I look forward to. I was just like, I don't care about anything else, just like bring out the bean pie and leave me alone. Like it was so good. And that's it.
I love it. All that sounds
Thank
so
you.
good. Those noodles sound really, really good to me. I love like texture-wise. That's the kind of thing I love. I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Thanks for running into uncharted territory out there.
I got it. No fear.
I would love to brag because I made up a recipe for Mother's Day one year for breakfast in bed. And I put some grape nuts in a bowl. And I put some dulce fruta, like chips, the little chocolate chips that melt. And then I just put some water in the sink in it. And then I just like put a whole bunch of random stuff. I put like bread and stuck it down in it. And I thought, I was like writing down the recipe because I was going to give the recipe also as a gift for this thing that I was making up. And in the recipe, I was saying things like, put the water faucet on for 4 seconds. And it tasted terrible. But, you know, that's a... Oh, no, I got the prompt wrong. It's what delicious food items were unique to your family growing up. Oops. Oh, well, here we go. So we've got 2 more questions, and then we're going to get to see how it all comes together. We're going to move through these 2 questions a little bit more quickly. So the next one. What was the moment when you knew you grew up? Or if you feel like me, like you still haven't grown up, perhaps. When was a moment in your life when you remember feeling like you were growing up, in the process of growing up?
Honestly, I say for us it was very different because being in a refugee family, you have so many responsibilities, translation for parents, filling out those documents from government. It's like at a very young age. But I say that I got into UCSD and I got into many other schools and I was like, oh, I'm finally an adult. And then when I started using the public transportation and I'm like, oh, now I know how to use public transportation and I can go somewhere else. So I think that was the moment when I realized that I'm finally like a grown up. But I would say maybe there are still some other steps that I need to take to get there.
I love it. Thank you for sharing. Farah, do you have any?
Yeah, I think like falling in love for the first time. And like thinking I had been in love before and then realizing that that wasn't the case, but I was actually in love this time was like a really beautiful, like, oh my God moment.
Yeah. Beautiful. I kind of feel that. I feel like the day that I could look back at high school or other past like infatuations with Cole Sprouse or whoever in real life I actually knew and who wasn't a celebrity. Oh God, what if he sees this? But I feel like being able to look back and really feel complete detachment from that without any more like, oh, but it would be so romantic and messy, you know. But like without that is, I think that's a moment. I probably would have to think of like take more time to think of a serious one. What do you think? Was there a moment when you felt like you were growing up? You've got a hand. Okay, we've got another messenger.
When he turned 16, he was the first driver in the family. His parents were immigrants, and so he was called upon to pick his father up from work, to go food shopping every week. He was the parent with the car, and for me, I have an 8-year-old brother that made me feel like mama because my mom was sick. And so I just took care of him. And my girlfriends adored my baby brother.
Convenient. Very convenient.
Yeah. Very nice. Yeah.
Love
we had
that.
another one over here, Laura, actually. Okay. He said first time voting.
First time voting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Voting,
Yeah,
definitely.
that was a moment. Yeah, I feel that.
Keep doing that.
Yeah.
Keep doing
Hey,
that.
We've got a hand here and a hand here, and then we'll go on to our last question.
When I became a mom.
Nice, beautiful. Over here.
Right over there.
When my mom, who never takes advice from anybody because she knows best, asked me for advice.
Oh,
and actually took it.
That's a big moment. That's a big
And
moment.
actually took it.
All right. All right.
Definitely.
Okay.
I know for me it was when I was finally able to rent a car by myself.
Ooh.
Yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm a real adult.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
about transportation, you know, and like mobility.
Freedom.
Declan is obviously saying grew up, what's that, right? Because he's still a kid. But Michelle is adding when I got my first paycheck.
Ooh.
Animated bunny, paying rent 100% on my own for the first time and getting excited of buying a washer and a dryer.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Getting excited about the things you
And the
never thought you would get
vacuum.
excited about
Yes,
before.
yes, yes.
I dream
feel
of a
that.
day.
I feel that. Okay, here we go. Last question. What's an incredibly bold thing that one of your elders did in their life? Whether or not you were present for it, what is a bold thing that they did? You want to go?
Who's that?
Let's go with Wahida real quick.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
I would say my parents thinking to move to India, because sometimes when I think of it, it's a very hard decision to make, to go to a country that you don't know anything about, not the culture, you don't know anyone that's living there, you don't know the governmental situation there, like you don't know anything about this new country that you're moving to, and then you have 4 kids with you as well, so I think that was a hard decision that they made, and something that I think I would be never able to do it, and I'm just proud that they made that decision to go to India, because it changed my life, and I know my siblings are also grateful for the decision that they made and the struggles that they faced to give us a good life.
Yeah. I feel that. Was there a hand on this side? Yeah.
Well, my parents did a lot of things remarkable.
Yeah.
But they were Holocaust survivors, and they just lived through that. They did remarkable things.
Yeah.
But one of the things they did is steal food. The only way they could live is they would steal food and give it to them and to other people to help everybody survive.
Huge
Wow,
things.
thank you.
Huge things. Does anybody else want to share a remark, like a bold thing that one of your elders did? Yeah, Rick?
My grandpa was a sharecropper back in the day, and I mean, it's a little intense, but there was a aggressive situation that he dealt with as a black man during that time, and he basically stood up to some people that were trying to harm the family.
Wow.
And that's why they ended up leaving Mississippi and going to Missouri.
Wow.
Yeah, because they wouldn't gin his cotton anymore because he stood up. Yeah, so that sort of thing.
Whoa. It's like the things that our elders did that brought us to where we are. Yeah. There's one over there.
My dad was the first in his family to leave Philippines, and so while he was married, he left my older brother, and we weren't even born yet, but for him to join the Navy and then establish family here was something I appreciated.
That sounds like an incredibly bold thing. And I know that we have more. I know that everybody could share something. One last one right over here.
My great-grandmother, she's Spanish, and she lived through the Civil War. And she had to pack up, grab her 2 little kids, and come to Mexico all by herself, and then wait for her husband to come, years after the war was over. So, yeah.
Well, over here, if I can share very quickly, too.
Yeah.
My grandfather joining the army at 16.
Wow.
And when my mom hit the glass ceiling, she quit and started her own company.
Bold things that we celebrate. And give yourselves one more big round of applause, because that was our last question. And now you have all done all the work that you have to do, so we're going to let you take a minute to do all the work that you need to do.
I think I did.
You did it?
All
right.
I think so.
Okay, so now we're going to get to see how this all is going to filter in to, remember that play excerpt that we got to hear about from Farah's one-person play, Buckets? let's see how it all panned out. But thank you so much, Wahida, for contributing. Thank you, everybody on the plaza. Thank you, friends on the YouTube live stream. So now presenting, without further ado, an original work of playwriting founded by Farah Dinga in collaboration with all of us today. Go ahead.
Yay! Woo! For the birds weighed down by oil who cannot fly. So I won the science fair one year, and it was super duper cool. Thank you, thank you. And it felt like the biggest, grandest achievement of all time. I remember being afraid that I had peaked in the 4th grade. I talked about how birds are affected by oil spills in the ocean, and I coated seagull feathers in oil to demonstrate how the oil clings to them and keeps them weighted down from flight. The trick is that you have to use soap to clean the feathers. And the seagulls, the pelicans, the lee sterns of the ocean don't have access to soap. They cannot give themselves the soap they need to save themselves, to wash themselves clean of the effects of men. And a bird that is covered in oil becomes heavy and flightless, and eventually they cannot fly or they drown. They do not have the power to be free of us without the help of us. That was my thesis. That is my thesis. So I won the science fair, and my father came to see it, and he was in his kota shalwar, which is this long shirt that men wear in our culture. And my father had this big beard because it was Ramadan, and it was bushy and soft, and when I was a kid, I would stick my hands in it and pet it like it was a tiny creature that lived on the faces of family members and our family friends. A beard on a man's face meant that they were ours and I was theirs, and we could trust them. It was a familiar friend, and it lived on all of the faces of the treasured people in my life, and I loved my father's extra. It smelled like his toothpaste and spices and his cologne. My father walked up to me and he hugged me and he told me he was so, so proud of me. He loved science and he wanted to see who his kid beat, and he wanted to make sure I had earned it. My father wanted to measure my talent and the power of my mind against my peers in the 4th grade. And when he walked away, I stood next to my project, and when people came by and stared, I asked them if they wanted to hear about it. Some people said yes, reluctantly, smiling and nodding until they could walk away. And some of them seemed genuinely interested, and some of them looked at me and my project like there was something wrong with it or me or both. A kid came up and asked me if I knew how to make a bomb. I told them no, I didn't, but I could teach them about the plight of birds they never needed to care about. And then I could put 2 feathers in their hands, one with oil and one without, and they could feel how heavy the feathers of some birds become. And I could show them how much better an unburdened bird could fly. They asked me if my father knew how to make a bomb. I told them no, but he could teach them about computers and what crossing an ocean feels like and how to make the perfect mango lassi. They asked me if my father was a terrorist. They said he looked like the photos of the ones that they had seen on TV, and my dad showed all of the signs of being a terrorist. They pointed to him looking at a papier-mâché volcano. Look at the clothes he's wearing. Look at his beard. Look at his skin. Smell him. He smells strange and spicy. That's what bombs smell like. That's what you smell like. And I was petrified. Is that true? Do I smell like a bomb? I didn't know you could smell a bomb, and now all of a sudden I am smelling myself, and my father comes back and I'm smelling him, and we smell the same. We do, and it does smell spicy. Oh my God. And I ask him, Dad, are we terrorists? And this was the first moment that I ever recognized racism. I'm sure it had happened plenty of times before, but this was the first time that I saw it and I recognized it. And I didn't even recognize it in myself, but I saw the effect that those 4 words had written all over my father's face. He grabbed my arm sharply and he pulled me aside. He said, "Who said that to you? Who said that to you? I don't know. You don't know? Was it a classmate? No. Was it a kid? Was it another student? He's angry now. Yes, it was a kid. Are you mad at me? No, Beta, I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at that kid, Farah. You tell that kid that, yes, I do know how to make bombs. And if they ever tease you or call you any names, that, yes, I will blow up their house. You will? No, Beta, no. But you have every right to be here. And you scare those kids if you have to. You hit that kid if you have to. You are strong and tough and smart, and you have the best damn science project in this building. Paper mache umbrella? My daughter is talking about oil spills and saving ecosystems and combating capitalism in the 4th grade. That's my daughter. And I've crossed an ocean, Beta. You care about these birds, right? Yes? They deserve to fly and swim in the ocean and not worry about drowning in oil, right? Yes? This is your ocean, Beta. Get their oil spills out of it. What pride smells like. I want to tell you about roses. The ones I grew up sticking my nose inside of and smelling my lineage. I breathe in my ancestors, my family, our rituals. I breathe out myself, alive and full of the scent of where we're from. It's the smell of the perfume that every woman in my family owns. It's the smell of gulab jamun and sweets on Eid, cut grass, and my auntie's bathroom that I hide in to escape my cousins' grabbing hands as we play tag at our family parties. It smells like the warmth of my grandmother, my daddy-ma, my aide, the folds of my shawar kameez. It smells like the blood that filled my nose when we pierced it, and the ring that we put in it. It smells like the moment that when my father gets back from months overseas, bringing back my auntie and uncle to live with us from some far-off land that I can't even conceptualize yet. It smells like the sweets, the incense, the spices that they bring back in big, heavy, huge suitcases while the whole family gathers around. It smells like rice, green peas, and condensed milk. It smells like biryani and chai and paratha. It smells like Pakistan. It has always smelled like Pakistan. Rosa centifolia, or gulab as we call it. Its water, perfume, and oils were always plentiful in our home. My aunties wore it, my daddy-ma wore it, and when I too, as a young woman, went to Pakistan, I was gifted a small vial of this precious oil. It was a smell that said, you are a woman now. You are taking care of your family, you carry your lineage, your ancestors, the survivors, the strength of the women in this family with you. And everywhere I go, whenever I wear this perfume, I get compliments. People can smell the love, the pride rising off of my skin. I am wearing it now. Can you smell it? Once when I was a server, my boss told me that my perfume was too potent and that I needed to stop wearing it. I didn't. I just put it in my hair, and when he asked me why I still smelled of roses, I told him it was my shampoo, but I could wash my hair less if he wanted me to. He didn't mention it again. When people tell you about Pakistan, when you inevitably hear people talk about the country that my family is from, tell them you hear they're known for their roses. Take this perfume in buckets and pour it on everyone you see. Thank you.
Yes, please.
Oh, thank you.
Farah, thank you so much for sharing that with us. It's such an honor to get to have an excerpt from your piece on the Word Up stage, and I don't know if y'all could catch some of, I mean, you were weaving that in. It was like butter, you know, like the things that we were saying were in there like butter. What was it like to perform something that you wrote that you know with different words on the fly that were given to you by this community?
You know, it's wild and it's not, because I think the thing that is so beautiful, you know, I've been having a lot of these conversations lately about like, you know, in playwriting, should it be for me as an artist specifically, should it be about me writing plays about other human beings that don't exist? Like, should it all be that? And then I think about the things that are happening in my life and the people who I love in their lives, and there is just so much that if you put it on a piece of paper, it seems like a story. And that's really like privilege, right? That's really what privilege looks like, is that for some people it can be a wild story, and for some people it is our lived experiences. And it has been beautiful to see how much overlap there is, you know, with this very autobiographical story, with so many things that resonated with me that were coming out from y'all's mouths. And so it was wild to see like condensed milk and sweet peas and an umbrella and these words, but also just felt very right, because it is exactly what the piece is here for. So it's been a joy. Yeah.
Well, yes. And Wahida, now you kind of know what happened today. Now that we're done with it, you have a sense of what we're going to do. What do you think?
Beautiful. I was so emotional hearing your story, but I mean, I feel so connected to it. There are so many situations, and I know so many people face situations like that, and oh, that was so beautiful. And now I see why you chose some of the things that you did. Thank you.
Yeah, that's right. We got all these roses. We've got these roses spilling out of the cage. We've got the roses on the scale of justice there. We've got our luggage. We've got our bird cages. I don't know, man. I just think this is, I'm so excited at how this has all come together. So thank you so much for sharing that with us and for sharing your artistry and welcoming us into your process and all of that means. Thank you, Wahida, for sharing your poetry with us and your presence, and for your recommendations for how we can support the community and our newly arriving neighbors right now. So now we're wrapping up, folks. So now there's one more thing that I would like to welcome you to do, which is, before you head out, this little Old Globe family tree here, it had a hard summer. It's a little, but there are blank little hearts in the bottom, and there are some pens. And I would love to ask you to participate in this activity by responding to the following questions. How do you define the San Diego arts community? And what is your greatest wish for the San Diego arts community? Because even if you don't think you're an artist, you just helped make art. So you're officially part of our community, whether you like it or not. It's too late. So I'd love for you to share how you see us, and with all the different parts of yourself who you're bringing to our community. So that's there for you before you head out. And who knows, maybe in May, which is when the next Word Up is scheduled for, Rick will come on stage and freestyle off of your little brown heart. We'll have to come and find out, though. So don't forget to follow the Old Globe Arts Engagement accounts in order to find out more about when the next events are. But I'd love to ask you, real quick before we go, how do you define the San Diego arts community? And what is your greatest wish for our community as our send-off?
I would say it's very inclusive. I don't count myself as an artist, but
too
late.
Yeah, what?
Too late. But yeah, it's very inclusive, and it supports everyone. And I hope it continues to grow like the way it is, and it's a beautiful community, and I am so proud to be part of it.
Thank you. Thank you. And Farah?
More underrepresented folks in positions of power and leadership. Yeah. More artists of color, queer folk, disabled humans making decisions in halls and institutions in positions of power. Yeah, and really allowing for actual, authentic, inclusive art to exist here in San Diego. And how I define the art scene, All of it, all of it. And I'm gonna also extend the artist scene across the border. I think is also very much, it's also very much part of the San Diego art scene, whether or not people recognize it, and they should. So, yeah.
I feel that. I feel that. Thank you so much for bringing all the parts of yourselves to this art making. Thank you for bringing all the different parts of yourselves and your families and your memories and your recipes to today's program. I want to thank one more time the props department for putting together an entire custom set for us. I want to thank Anthill Creative Technology for live streaming this whole affair. I want to thank Miki Vale for our sound design and our all local musicians playlist. If you want to listen to her all local musicians playlist, you can get it through the link on your little QR code. But thank you, Vad. Thank you, Valeria Vega. Thank you, Vero. Thank you, Rick. Thank you so much to everyone for being here today. It's been such a joy to have you. We hope to see you in May when we'll be back. But if you'd like to share more of your thoughts in the meantime, there are surveys, and we read every single one and love to hear about what you are looking for and how you're feeling about things. So I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Woo.
على قد ما ادتني الدنيا على قد ما راح اللي راح ساب فراغ واشكي لنفسه في شي ضاع قلبي ويبولن ما شاء الله فيك سكيب فولن ما شاء الله ممكن لك اسلي بخي ain't too hard looking as fresh as موسى الله حبيبي ويبولن ما شاء الله فيك سكيب